It's another Monday, another time for Youth 360 Youth Dialogue right here on Third Eye Television. Like we always say, we're broadcasting from the Central Business District, Abuja. My name is Bivan Magonia. And last week we had quite an interesting conversation. We talked about the hookup culture. And basically, what we do here, we try to enlighten the youth on some of the issues that we have that are, pricking us in the society, that are making us go through, whether those things that are good, that are bad, that we're supposed to do, that we're not supposed to do. That's what the Youth 360 Youth Dialogue is all about. And today we're going to look at another important or interesting topic. Now, people have always been talking about the jackpot culture. Jackpot culture is very, very interesting. It's good. It's okay. Beg your pardon, for you to say you are traveling or you're jackpotting or you're moving out of the country, but you're moving out to where and how, and that's what we'll be dwelling on. But instead of looking at it like the jackpot culture, we're going to look at what happened in the year 2003 when the Nigerian government said we are going to address this issue of human trafficking. Yes, so that's what we'll be discussing today on 360 Youth Dialogue. Human trafficking. Trafficking comes in various forms in different ways, but what we're trying to look at today is how to address and balance this conversation here on trafficking. Joining me on the show, we have Margaret, we have Juliet, we have Precious. Hi guys, good to have you once again.
Yeah, good to have you, Biden. It's good to be here,
Like
actually.
okay. Anyways, bless my amongst women. Like it's always a pleasure to have you guys.
Right.
So we're going to look at trafficking. What do you understand by trafficking generally? What's your own understanding of trafficking? Let's start with you, Precious.
Okay, I would say trafficking is an illegal act
Okay.
of either transporting people or goods
Okay.
through an illegal way. Yeah, so
I agree with you because sometimes when we look at trafficking, it's not just about persons. So trafficking means an illegal way of moving something. But we are looking at human trafficking here. She has just given us what trafficking is, and now for you to build on it, don't you think so?
Okay, for me, I would think generally trafficking it's more like it's more of illegality, taking things to from one destination to another without, should I say, without going through the legal boundary registrations and stuff like that. So there's like human trafficking, drug trafficking, and the rest. And I think there are other things. I don't know if there's like animal trafficking.
Yes, there's animal
Yeah, we
trafficking.
have drugs trafficking, we
drug
have
trafficking.
human trafficking, we have I think
Everything that's moved illegally.
Yeah, weapons trafficking as well. Yeah.
When you talk about animal trafficking, for example, pangolin scales are being
Okay.
trafficked. They are illegal. Elephant tusks are being trafficked.
Yeah.
Even some animals themselves, living animals, when you are moving them from one country, from one boundary to another, you're not going
Going
through the
through the
right
legal
channel.
Right.
It's
Mm.
process.
actually trafficking. Margaret?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go the definitions. I'm going to go another way
Hmm.
and say human trafficking is a form of modern day slavery.
Mm.
Yes, just for monetary gain. In the maybe from from the trafficker and for the person that will also be trafficked. So it's a form of monetary gain for the trafficker and the person that will be trafficked.
Now, the interesting thing about this conversation is that while we are looking at it like gives you an opportunity to make some ends meet or
Yes.
whatever it is, but in the long run, is trafficking is not good for anybody.
Yes.
Okay, because people are being used. I think Precious here cited an example earlier. Can you?
Oh yeah, I cited an example of a friend of mine who was trafficked. I think that was 3 years ago. Our boyfriend, okay, our boyfriend was like, "Oh, I have an agent. He's gonna process your traveling for you and all that. It's gonna be easy." I think it spends like either 700,000 or more. That she have to go to Lebanon.
Okay.
Oh.
That there's a good job there and all of that. So fortunately for her, or unfortunately, everybody was happy for her. Oh, my friend is traveling abroad and all of that. She's at least you're out of Nigeria.
Mm.
So on getting there, she spent 1 week living her life. Yeah, 1 week she was given a what's it called, in an office, well furnished. That,
Wow.
oh yeah, she's going to be.
Just to make her come.
I'm telling you, so she's going to be working in this particular office and all of that. But after 1 week, the story changed. So they had to move her to another woman's house and say that's her madam. So she started working there as an house help.
Just like that.
Yes. So say as time goes by, she slept in the doghouse. She was given, these Indomie tables, these 200 naira noodles.
Yeah.
That's what they eat daily, each day. Imagine eating just 200 naira noodles every day. One, no egg, nothing, nothing, no protein, nothing. And she has to sleep in the doghouse. And most times they give them these pills that they use. I actually don't know what the pills is for. Maybe it's for them not to, I don't know, maybe get
Taking or
pregnant or
something.
something. I don't know. He said they have to take the pills for like 1 year and all of that. He said the cleaning is just, it's not ordinary cleaning. You mop the walls, clean the walls. Like there's a ladder in the house that you have to clean the ceiling and all of that. I was like, what kind of work is that? Just because you want to travel out of the country.
You
And
know,
she didn't prepare
She's
herself for all this.
yeah, she
So
was
it's like
ignorant
it,
of what she was going to.
Of course, I'm telling
Yes.
you. And she fainted like I think 3 or 4 times at the hospital. It was a good Samaritan that helped her from the hospital. Then she
Escaped.
escaped back to
Now, these are
Nigeria.
some of the stories we keep getting on a daily basis. We've seen cases of young women who say, who are being tricked. I gave you an example earlier also.
Yeah, right.
There was this lady I know who was, her own case is even as bad as in the fact that she's ill.
okay.
She had HIV/AIDS and all of that.
Before
And
leaving.
yes,
Yeah.
and so she was promised a job. When you see her, she looks very great, very okay. So they said, we're going to give you a job and then moved her to one of the African countries. Now, on getting there, that was when she found out that there were other ladies with her. So they were, dragged into this commercial sex network, trafficking of young girls into prostitution across the African country, continent rather. And so somehow she found her way, just like you said. So these cases always come to limelight
Yeah.
when people like Good Samaritans are involved,
Exactly.
international NGOs,
Yeah.
agencies come in, to help this kind of guys out. But also, this is just one part of the conversation. Trafficking comes in different forms. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
Hmm? So there are two types of trafficking: internal trafficking
external.
and external trafficking.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen situations where people come to me and say, I'm from a conflict-prone area, all right, where during a couple of years ago, where people were dying, fighting herders, farmers clashes in Kaduna State, and I was actively involved in that. But in this conversation, in the midst of that, people come to me and say, can we take up can you find us a young lady who would who who will come and serve as a house help to us, and if she's serving as a house help to us, we can be able to send her to school and then maybe remit
Train
a,
her
and
stuff.
all of that.
Yeah.
But in reality, people are just looking for someone to use.
Yeah.
Because let me take it from that like girls from IDP camps and the rest.
Exactly.
Why don't these same people that are looking for who to train, they have relatives that are not going to school, they have relatives that maybe drop out, little ones, but they always go to, should I say, let me call them, let me just hashtag it, less privileged,
Less privilege.
less privileged.
Or people that
Very
cannot hold him
rural.
accountable.
Exactly.
People that are said to not have anyone, rural areas.
Yeah.
Because you cannot tell me, I have a daughter, and then I send her to your house. She calls and say, "Oh, they are beating me,"
Yeah,
and
being
then I'm
maltreated.
shocked. Like I can't do anything. And then I've heard cases where the so-called they sent her to school. Actually, it's not like they said we'll send her to school and then they used her for prostitution. They sent her to school, and I think she did one or two, and then the lady beat this girl to death.
It's happening almost on a daily
Yeah, it's
basis.
happening.
If you remember in 2019, 2020, there was this viral video and pictures of a young lady in Kaduna State who was taken, from Kajuru local government. A lady came and said, "Look, I want you to come and stay with me. I'll send you to school and take care of her." Now, I've never seen that kind of level of maltreatment that an individual will go through.
Of course.
She uses candle on the girl's private parts.
Are you
That's
serious?
She
terrible.
beat. It's still standing on my Facebook. I think that's the biggest story that got thousands of shares
Yes,
from my
wow.
Facebook page. It's still standing there. That was my exclusive report. Like This woman took somebody's child who was going through, I mean, there are people who are getting killed and were dying and fighting and all of that. I say, oh, come, I'll send the girl to school. The girl's mother came and stood under the rain, and this woman refused to let the mother see her daughter. When I saw the condition of that girl, I was like, God, what is this? And that made me completely, I say, if you have a child, as a mother, as a parent, forget about the fact that we always tell people, give birth to the number of children you can cater for, you can
yeah,
train.
yeah.
But if you have a child and you have children, even if you're going to eat sand, please don't give them out to people.
I'm telling you, yeah, just like what you said, just give birth to children you can train. There are some parents that they give out their children themselves just because of money, because of greed. So, you give out your child to someone and say, okay, fine, we'll be paying you 50,000 monthly. The money is not going to the child that is doing the hard work,
Exactly.
that has been forced to work. The money is going to the parents. And so she's working there as a slave, and the parents are sometimes they don't even give the child anything at all.
They feel for them the payment they give the child is you're under a shelter, you're eating daily, at least you go to school if afforded.
So
The
even parents
opportunity.
themselves are guilty of this.
Yeah, some
and
parents are
the parents-
guilty. Yeah, some parents are guilty
Money is not
because of
involved,
greed.
but to reduce maybe to reduce the burden on
Hardship.
them. Yes, to reduce the burden on them. They just maybe share the children.
Oh no, no, no.
They share them. You go here, you go to my sister's place, or you go to my brother's place. So to reduce maybe
The burden.
yes,
burden
the
on
burden.
them.
It's really, really
It's
disheartening.
But
Now-
I have one question.
Yeah.
In cases like this, you mentioned that the lady uses candle on the little girl's private part. Are there no like neighbors around? Are there no people that hear or see one or two of these incidents?
You mentioned
happen?
about the girls, that your friend sleeping in a dog's house, right?
Yes.
Well, this girl was sleeping in a dog's house.
So are there
She
no
was sleeping on
neighbors
the
around there?
but I mean, it's a big woman, it's a rich woman. I think she was a director, or the husband was a director with the NNPC. Right? This was a big story. If you just Google it, you'll find it out. Or go to my YouTube and just I've forgotten the girl's name. This woman was a deaconess in the church, as a matter of
Can
fact.
imagine.
She was a very popular church member. She's all of these pirikoko woman. I think Living Faith or Deeper Life in Kaduna. So this story really, really shook a lot of people. When you say you beat her with all sorts of weapons and whatever it is, the one that pissed me off, okay, she wasn't just doing it by herself. Her children were also joining
Are you
hands in doing. Yeah,
serious?
the children were involved.
No,
So
no, that's
this
sad.
girl's back, body, face, private parts. You light a candle and then you let the hot burning wax drop on the girl's
Oh
body.
no.
So it's one of
I
the
wonder. Sometimes I
That's
wonder
wickedness.
who give these people inspiration for
I don't
wicked
know.
acts.
Like
like
The
this-
devil is actually learning
because
from
I've
them.
not seen
Yeah.
I've not seen someone that would maybe take another person's child in and treat that child
Like that.
like our own. I've
No,
not
no, no,
seen.
no, no. There are people
There are
that
people
treat.
that do
Yeah, there are
that.
people with good hearts. There are
I've
people
not
that
seen
treat
it. It's
children.
really rare. It's rare.
No. There are thousands of people out there that actually have good hearts and take other children like theirs.
I think I understand where
Yes.
Margaret is coming from when she says there are instances where you pick up somebody's child and you have your own children. In as much as you pay attention, you help that child, but your preference will always be given
Always
to
be
the
Of
there.
course,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's what,
definitely,
and it's
definitely.
difficult to find someone who would say, I accept another person's child wholeheartedly. It's not because that child is bad, it's not because you're bad, but sometimes you can identify with your own child because it's your blood. Do you understand? There are some certain things your child would do, and you say, yes, this is my child.
Yeah.
You understand because sometimes it's displaying the characteristics you have. Probably
Yes.
some things you did as a child.
Of course.
Sometimes
yes,
you
yes,
see your
so-
husband, your spouse in that child.
Yes.
Sometimes that child reminds you of family members. You know, I see my niece sometimes and just look at her. I just say, this one is not far away from my father. I mean,
Right.
yeah. So you see that. So where the difficulty is how when another person's child displays a little bit, it sounds off to you, and that's where the friction or the conflict usually start from. But moving away from this, from the local, and we're just talking about the female children here. Mostly, they are the
Yeah.
ones. The male children also go through the same process of trafficking.
Yes.
A child is out there on the street, getting involved in what he's not supposed to.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. But we've just been having this conversation on the internal trafficking. external trafficking. That's why I tell anybody that cares to listen. I don't see myself jackpotting out of this country.
I actually see myself jackpotting anyway.
I don't see
Not
myself.
the legal way, yeah, not the illegal way.
Whether
Yeah, the
legally
legal
or
way.
illegally,
Yeah.
whether legally or illegally, I don't see myself jackpotting because, in my understanding and whatever it is, jackpotting is a part of. That's where the definition of 21st century slavery comes in.
Slavery, yeah.
Because I'm here as a TV radio presenter, a journalist, newscaster, whatever it is in Nigeria here. If I move out of this country without preparing myself, without having something good, without having that platform, strong platform that I create from here, if I
Yeah.
move out there, I'll have no choice than to go and be doing chores out there.
Of course,
I am-
definitely.
Do you know there are people
Definitely.
that actually have structure, but yet when they go there, like they have structure, directors, they have.
Yes,
What I
that's
mean,
true.
they have
Yeah, but they
here
don't
in
have it
Nigeria,
over there.
but they don't have over there. So they
Yeah.
sell. Should I say sell their entire thing here
No, once
to go there to have like something
one thing
structured?
is this, I won't be a millionaire here and go and watch bomb in the
You
UK.
understand? The washing of
I will
bomb
not.
bomb, the security
I will
girl.
not. I will
See,
not.
you
I will
think-
be
you
I cannot
think-
be a millionaire here,
see,
a millionaire here
the truth
and go watch bomb in
Do
the
you know
UK.
The truth is, most people that say, I will not, I will not. At the end of the day,
No.
When you get
that
there-
cannot be me.
do you know why?
The only reason-
Do you know why? It's more, the pay there is high. So
Yeah.
you're like,
This is
oh,
the
if I
thing.
do this
I
little thing,
understand.
I can get this much.
You don't understand. What I'm trying to say is I cannot be rich here. Everybody know me
Yes.
as a rich
You
woman.
are rich here.
Then
and
I'll
all
now
That's
go
that.
a
over
difference.
there
It's
to
different
watch
when
bomb.
you're a
No, I
celebrity
will not.
here, like you're really well
I
known
don't
here.
even need to be known. I just need to have a good life. I can go there, to have vacations with my family.
Yeah, vacation.
and all of
Vacation.
that.
Would
Yeah,
we
but
define
when I'm still
vacation
struggling and I
as
have the opportunity to go over there to work harder, why not? I can. But not that I am actually rich here. Come on.
No,
But
there's
would
no
we
point going
define
there again.
would we define vacation as jackpotting?
No.
Vacation.
No,
Now,
that's not
what
jackpotting.
people do is, some people use vacation to jackpot.
As an excuse.
So-
Okay, it's an
yeah,
excuse for them to jackpot, and this is where we are talking about. That's what exactly we're talking about. It's illegal. It's illegal because in some instances, when you get caught, the treatment you will pass through, how you will be treated over there, would be a call for mercy. Do you get? So it's okay you jackpot if you want to jackpot, but like for me, like I say, we are looking at. We just mentioned something. We are not talking about slavery here. We're talking about
Legal system.
trafficking, human trafficking,
yeah.
and all of that. But for me, what I'm trying to say is, I see that jackpot as dehumanizing also, because sometimes no matter your class in society, and then you move there and you go on and start doing security work, washing
Like
plates,
petty work.
doing some other things, and
cleaning.
it is really, 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 it should be discouraged. It should be discouraged.
Right.
Sometimes we don't even need to wait for our government. Sometimes we need to find a way. That's where you see all of this boils down to education system.
Exactly.
Sometimes you apply for different
Just the education system, like the entire Nigerian system. Because the reason why people would leave this country is not because the country is bad. There are other countries that have bad governance. We can't say US government have like zero corruption. There are actually corruptions going on there, but their system is working.
Where system where place where system.
Every country has a loophole.
But now there's something called push and pull. We have to determine what's pushing Nigerians out and what's pulling them into the other country. There just have to be something, and that's like the system.
The system.
So in this conversation now, we all agree that illegal trafficking has a lot of consequences.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because if someone who leaves the country illegally ends up cleaning bomb, washing bathrooms,
That's so-
doing security, I mean, even these nurses here, what do you think they do?
That's
What do you think nothing is?
true.
What do you think the nurses do out there? It's just luckily for the doctors, yeah, they're doctors. And even with that, if you are not that skilled, you'll not be rated. But for the nurses and all of that, you hear a nurse here, a nurse there, what do you think they are doing? I have a friend who said, I am tired of cleaning bomb people, and that was it. And she had to leave. She's a nurse, a certified nurse, right? So if these people can come back,
It's either she applied as a caregiver.
Caregiver.
When you
Yeah, they're
caregiver,
different.
it's different from being a
Being a
oh
nurse.
really?
Yes.
Okay, I'm
So it's
learning
either you're a
here.
caregiver or you're a nurse. So I think their nurses are being well paid and properly treated there. Or if you're a caregiver, you either taking
Taking
old
old
people,
people.
sick people, and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about Jackman now. This is also like a sponsor for human trafficking. Because if people do not want to leave Nigeria, there will not be that trap. Let me use the word trap. Because most of these people that are being trafficked, they're like migrants and maybe people looking for better land, better things. The how they say it, the land is greener on the other side kind of stuff. And for them, most people that actually ended up doing, should I say, ended up in the trafficking scene.
Now, the most dangerous part of this conversation is this is where organ harvesters come in, all right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is where, because if, like we're saying, the person that moves illegally is being treated this way, what do you think you're going to do there? The little opportunity they get and find out that, oh, this is an illegal person, all right? That's what they say.
All of them illegal.
What?
Because some human traffic victims, they pay for it. They're like, okay, I'm traveling, bring so euro. They pay for it.
They're being what's it called, brainwashed, or should I say coerced into it. Most of them do not know. They don't know what they're going to face over there. So they just tell you, oh, you're going to have a good life, or there's a job waiting for you over there, and all of that. But getting there, you get something just like my friend. So he gets there and meets something else entirely.
Because there's this documentary.
You move legally.
Yes,
You move legally.
Okay.
So you end up falling into the hands of the wrong people.
Yes.
All right. Sometimes they give you the papers, they do everything, they process it, and then you move out there. And then on getting there, you realize that you are a sex slave. Your organs are used as, you become a donor. That's why you hear some people will say travel out, they're looking for kidney, they're looking for this. Sometimes the heart is harvested and implanted into another person. So these are some of the issues we are facing here. The ladies, if they begin to talk about what they go through, haven't you seen a situation or heard of a situation where ladies leave this country, where they go and they become sex slaves to very, very old people?
Yeah.
Not just old people. I've heard of them being sex slaves for like animals.
Exactly.
And that's how they said HIV started.
And then eating poop and all of that, so dehumanizing generally. So for me, it goes back. I still stand. I say, look, with all of these things I do here, I know the system works over there. I know they have a standard. They have a system that works, right?
Yes.
But for me as an individual, if I can feed myself, clothe myself, house myself, and transport myself, and be able to take care of my immediate needs. Let's say I have kids that pay school fees, my aged parents, my siblings, my friends, whenever they come, they ask for something, I can be able to, there's no need for me traveling.
That's for you.
Yes, but
Yeah, that's why I said if I'm actually a millionaire here, I have no reason to travel. I have the opportunity
some
to
people just go out there for weather, fair weather, just go out and look fresh and nothing in their pocket.
Okay, we're talking about ourselves now, but statistics has it that most people that victims of this human trafficking, they're like from rural areas, most especially Benin, Edo State, Kogi, all those rural areas.
Yes.
So would we say these people are okay? There's this documentary I saw on trafficking. This girl ran away from home. And if you see the home I'm talking about, you will run away. Like the hardship is really like they see hardship face to face. So would you say, oh, if they should just manage, you have life, you can.
Now,
Sometimes the orientation matters.
Yes, poverty is actually the root cause of human
And
trafficking.
poverty is in the mind, actually.
Yes, poverty.
Poverty starts in the mind.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, it starts if you are thinking about money, food, success. You're a poor person in the first place. It starts from the mind. How do you comfortably? You need to orientate yourself.
Exactly.
You say,
You need orientation.
how can I sit down in a place?
How would you say these people need reorientation when the environment is speaking poverty?
Think for yourself.
How? There is no lights, there's no
I was talking to
electricity.
someone recently, and he said, "I don't have a job." Now I'm talking about someone who went to school together. All right, we studied the same course. He graduated with better class than mine. I'm a third class graduate, right? Graduated with 2.2, 2.1 or 2.2 or thereabout. But here I am, the guy with the third class. I have something to offer in the society.
Exactly.
I do my job, I do it, and I don't think people question, find loopholes a lot in what I do.
Yeah.
So why not you start by finding something you can do? You see, it all starts with you look at something you can do. See, today if journalism doesn't work for me in Nigeria, in Abuja, I can go back to my village and farm.
Exactly.
Of course.
There are opportunities everywhere. Sometimes I just feel like we just let ourselves be, or we let the wrong ideologies be sold to us. As an individual, I can succeed in almost everything I see myself doing. If I say I want to be a writer today, because I also write, I do voiceover, I do whatever. So I find myself, I don't stress myself as an individual. I don't know how people see themselves, where they go about. I know it's difficult. I am not from a rich background. No, I'm just telling you my reality. Probably we never had this conversation before.
Yeah.
But my parents gave birth to 12 children. My mom is still alive. My dad is still alive. They were both illiterate. All right? I'm the 10th child. So you imagine two illiterates having 12 children and they don't have a job. They're just peasant farmers. And here I am today. How did I get here? I looked at myself inward. I said, look, I can give value to myself. I always look out for opportunities out there. I tell stories. I see a story, and I say, I'm going to tell this story. And I go in there and tell that story. And that's how I was able to.
But would you say it's because of your education that you were able to think or rethink?
That's why I said, yes, education is key.
Then how is it?
Now, what she's trying to say now is, what about those that doesn't have access to all of
They don't have access to education. Education is not the ultimate. Common sense is. Common sense is. I told you I can go to the farm and I'll be very, very successful.
Yeah, some people need to know. They need that orientation. This is what child trafficking is all about. So they need orientation. They need someone to open up their mind so they can.
But do you know, I just remember,
do not know.
some people actually know that they're going to be trafficked. They know what they're getting themselves into. They're like, as long as I leave this country.
2018, I delved into a story and then I stopped a case of human trafficking. I stopped the case of this is the first time I'm talking about it. I had to write to Nati, and the boy that was involved had to like hands up completely and started apologizing. Yeah, I didn't do this. I'm not involved. Blah 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 blah. I just told him, this human being you want to traffic, you're not going to traffic her. And I knew this person.
Did you know that she was being trafficked?
She didn't know the story completely.
What sense?
So when she told me, okay, madam is coming all the way from Lagos, and I need to meet this guy, and I'm trying to leave the country through Kano, I said, this one is trafficking.
Trafficking.
Exactly. You start passing through legal routes.
Yes.
Just know that.
But sometimes some people know and say, look, I am going for it. And this is what. So this is where I said, right? It's a thing of the mind.
Yeah.
Apart from fresh weather. Some people, they go out there, you leave Nigeria, you leave the comfort of your house. What will make me, in the name of God, to go and be cleaning bathrooms? I find it difficult washing my own bathroom because I don't like it.
Yeah, you can imagine some people going through the Sahara Desert and all of that. I think there's this, what's the name of this ocean again?
The Mediterranean.
Yes.
Mediterranean Sea.
Yes. And you know that this thing is actually deadly for you. And yet you still put your hand into it like, no, I will go.
If I perish, I perish.
That's so it's really out of this.
And a lot of people have died in the process.
Yes, very
So
yes.
if we are looking at forced labor, which is a thing, if we are looking at it, that is even a problem. That is, you still have hope of being rescued someday.
Yes.
You still have hope of maybe they'll just push you out. You go to places like Libya. Just Libya here.
Libya is no, it's not. It's not a place to be with because they
As a black person,
yes, exactly because they really maltreat.
not even as a black person, right? As someone who is an illegal immigrant. First of all, they don't like black people. They are blacks, they are Africans, but they don't like black people. And because they don't like black people, and you are unfortunate enough to have to pass through Libya that you're going to Europe. What are you thinking about?
Right.
And then the worst part is they treat them like not just dog. The guy said they use what's this thing called? Is it electrocutors or something? And then they put it in their anus.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And you have to call your parents. So it's like, oh, you find yourself here illegally. They're going to send you back. But before you go back, your parents have to like pay money.
Yeah, you know, actually, most of these kidnapping cases we have here in Nigeria, it's actually, I think it's linked to Libya as well. Most of them get their weapons and all of that from most of these
Other
African
countries.
Yes, especially Libya. I think we have
And
one of our
Nigeria,
correspondents here over here
Burkina
that
Faso.
he did a documentary and mentioned most of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Libya also, Sierra Leone, and other African countries like that.
Guy, the way they treat humans like like illegal.
So this is where it goes back. Before I would like, okay, what makes you think that when you go out there to that country you're going to make it? And
That's
the uncertainty. Let's say you
uncertain, very true.
what makes you think? So you couldn't even gather money to pay for a plane ticket.
That's
Sorry, Vivian, sorry. Last year, there's this agency responsible for giving people visas. So I now checked for the visa for Canada and I saw 2 million. I was like, 2 million. If I have 2 million, I will start up a business here.
Facts.
Yeah.
It's enough to start up a business. Why are you spending 2 million to go outside?
And then you're going outside not having a job, not having a job. You're just going.
2 million is enough to start a business.
There are cases where somebody, he gets his visa, he sells everything. When I mean everything, his car, his house, furniture, everything. Because his visa is out, and then he's hopeful that when I get there, things will be better.
And most
And at the end of the
nothing for
months, and then the pressure is hard, and then they end up doing drugs.
Yes.
That's why they
So that is another illegal. You are an illegal immigrant.
doing it.
So you still compound. You keep compounding problems for yourself. And that's where you go to Southeastern Asian countries. Is it Southeast Asian Asian countries? Where is this? What's the name of this country? Malaysia.
Okay, yes.
Like Malaysia, where you find drug dealers. Which other country is it that once they catch you as a drug dealer, whether it's by mistake or it's realistic, the penalty is death.
Oh, I've heard of
The
countries.
penalty is death. Where is that?
Malaysia is actually sweet though.
That's not sweet.
Huh?
That's not sweet.
Once you're caught,
Once you are caught,
yes,
that's the end.
it's actually going to reduce a whole lot of illegal things.
Yeah. But let's talk about the persecution for human trafficking, because the last amended human trafficking law said if you're caught, you spend 2 years in prison and then you pay fine of 250,000. I'm like, is that okay?
It's not okay.
If you are caught in human trafficking
Yeah.
in Nigeria, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But I just
Then if it's like for a child, you pay 1 million and then you spend 6 years in prison. I'm like, that's too
So
much.
after I've made up, you see, the court of law has actually helped to compound some issues.
Yes.
So let's say I make like 250 million naira off somebody through or 500 people through trafficking, and the penalty is 2 years in jail
To 50,000.
and then 250,000 naira. Meanwhile, I'm in jail. That money is somewhere stashed up. Or I give it to someone, I say, grow this money for me.
Exactly.
I'll go there and relax in jail. Spend 2 years.
And come
After
out.
2 years, 250,000, right? I give 250,000.
2 years is not too much.
Yes, I think this woman.
So
as
the
well,
prosecution is not proper.
Yes,
Yes,
true.
Christy. I think Christy. She's popularly known as Christy Gold or something. Who was recently apprehended by the NAP team.
Oh, yes, I remember.
I think due to what I read, she was supposed to be in court sitting and all of that, but she refused to come. She traveled out of the country.
Interesting.
She said, "Oh, I'm coming back to Nigeria to come and celebrate the new year." So getting to the airport on the 31st of December 2024, she got caught. So I think now she has been apprehended. Well, I do not know the law or the charges against her.
And the extent of prosecution.
Exactly.
Well, this conversation, this is where we call it a day for today. But remember, we have 360 Youth Dialogue coming your way from Third Eye Television, broadcasting from the Central Business District, Abuja. And it's always an honor to be here to talk about these things that affect us, they affect you and I. Now, before you leave or you want to japa,
Have something to
plan your life.
Yeah.
Plan properly. Have something to do.
Yes.
Don't make it a situation where we'll be disrespected. We keep on complaining about racism. We complain about this. We complain. But please, there are better ways we can make it. And if you must travel, do it legally. That's the conversation here. So if you don't save up here, what makes you think you are going to save up there? We've seen stories of people who left after spending many years, they come back.
See, like,
Some don't even make it at all.
Ah.
So please don't be unfortunate in your quest for success. Guys,
Don't be
anybody have something else to say?
unfortunate. Don't be unfortunate.
Don't be desperate, because at the end of the day you can just have your organs harvested and all your quest is
It's gone.
gone.
Before you leave, make sure you have something to do there. If it's a job, okay, the job is setting already.
Exactly.
If it's for maybe you're going for your master's or this thing, make sure it's maybe a done deal. Don't go down, be stranded.
And I think the government can also help with, job empowerment for people. I think if people have something to do, they wouldn't have any reason to say, okay, fine, I want to jackpot to go get a living over there. So I think even no matter how small it is, the government should, try to provide job for people, job opportunities for people to do. So I think that also can actually reduce the rates of, this human trafficking, because everything boils down to money.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, catch you next time. My name is Biban Magoni.
And my name is Juliet Omra.
My name is Margaret Adewale.
And my name is Precious Adim.
A big shout out to the production team. We have Faith, we have Jibo, we have Bala. Shout out to you guys. We'll be back next week with 360 Youth Dialogue. Thank you for staying with us.
Bye.